Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Marriage Matters, brought to you by Marriage Beyond the Breach. This is your girl, Valerie Mason Chase. I'm not flying solo this week. Batman got her Robin, Kato got her Green Hornet.
Why I got to be the sidekick? Why is that something? I got to be the sidekick because it's her thing. I'm the sidekick.
No, it's our thing, baby.
Yeah,
it's our thing. This is my cookie
How come
man.
I don't get equal billing though? I got to be the sidekick.
So you want to be Superman?
Yeah, you can be Lois.
Okay, so Superman. No, we got to be Black Panther. And what was her name? Okoye. Y'all know what her name was.
I got top billing today.
All right, but anywho, welcome. I appreciate you guys being here with us on today. Because we've been under a pandemic for a couple of years now, and as you all know, the pandemic has changed our lives in so many ways. Things will never be the same again. It's impacted everything. It's impacted how we do life. It's impacted how we do work. It's impacted how kids attend school, how we shop, everything. And I was wondering how, if at all, why are you looking at me like that?
I was waiting for the question.
I was wondering how, if at all, the pandemic has impacted dating. Well, I have to ask other people, because other single folk, because the Cookie Man and I, we married, we date, but we just date each other. And so I wanted to know, we better only date each other.
There was a time.
Listen, that's a whole
we're gonna go into that.
That's a whole nother show, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring my hammer when we talk about that. But anywho, I have some very special guests with us today, and I am thrilled. I am so looking forward. Thank you, Angel, for being here. I appreciate you. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to bring them on one by one. We got a couple of ladies. We got a couple of fellas. So I'm going to bring the women on first. So I'm going to bring the first young lady, and that is my sister, Jackie.
Hi.
Hey. So listen, guys, I just want to tell you, I met Jackie just not that long ago, Jack. We met in October at my nephew Rock's wedding, and we sat next to each other. There was an event the night before the wedding, and I mean, we just connected. Yes. Our spirits just meshed. And I mean, this may sound strange, but I just fell in love with Jackie. I absolutely fell in love with Jackie. So I am honored, Jackie, to have you here. I am so happy that our paths crossed. So just talk a little about yourself, whatever you want to share with our viewers.
Thank you so much for having me. I concur. I fell in love with you just the same, your vibe, your energy, your mentorship, your intelligence, and I really, really love you. As a mom, a sister, everything that you can think of under God. A little bit about me. I have a Caribbean Spanish background. I'm not a heavy dater where I'm out every single week, at a restaurant, meeting different guys. But, I keep that on the down low, and I enjoy myself. I was raised in Dominican Republic. It was a great experience. I came here, had a great high school experience, met some beautiful people, and I became a nurse here, which has been so fulfilling and so spiritually fulfilling. So I'm happy to be here.
All right. Thank you so much, Jackie. Our next guest also happens to be a nurse. This is my sister friend, Nicole. Nicole, you and I met, like 12, 13 years ago, something like that, right? I think you're muted. Are you muted? Because I can't hear you, Nick. Give Nicole a minute. I can't hear you.
Can you hear us? You can hear us.
Okay. So Nick, go out and come back in and make sure that you give permission for your camera and your microphone. Try that and see what happens, okay? So we'll get Nicole when she comes back and we'll bring her on. This is live, folks. So, sorry. So this is live. So anything is liable to happen. Okay. So I'm going to bring the fellas on now. So here is Brother Melvin McCain. So
I'll take this one.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today, my brother. This is a brother that I have known since we were about 4 years old, something around there. We have grown up on Sterling Place. Won't give the address.
In Brooklyn.
Don't want nobody to come around looking for us. But like I said, we have been around each other for such a long time, and you know how we do. This man I consider my brother.
You can start crying. Don't cry, baby.
Different mothers, but again, growing up in the same house, sharing so many of the same things, getting into the same kind of trouble with each other. Yeah. It has been a long-lasting brotherhood, friendship. And this is my brother, Melvin. Melvin, tell us a little something about yourself.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Melvin McCain. I'm a retired hospital worker. I'm also retired from the fire department. So I'm 63 years old, and I'm enjoying my life. I'm traveling, just bought a new house down in Delaware. We traveling all over. I'm living my best life right now. I didn't know how sweet it was to get to this age to enjoy life. And I'm really starting to enjoy it. But I just want to thank God and thank you for having me as one of your guests. And I'm eager to get to the questions. Let's go.
Let's get started. Thank you so much, Melvin. Thank you so much. So let me bring Nicole back on. Nick, say something.
Is it working now?
Yeah, it's working.
Go ahead, Nicole.
This is my sister, E. Nicole Brown Young. We met at Reading Hospital many years ago. We were both working agency for a particular agency doing nursing at that time, and we have been fast friends ever since. Nicole and I have that kind of relationship where, we don't see each other a lot. We don't talk all the time, but when we do see each other, it's like we never left. Right where we left off, because our connection is real, our bond is real. And it's so important to have people in your life like that, because not everybody can say that, because some people can kind of feel some kind of way if you ain't calling them all the time or you ain't all up in their grill. But Nicole and I have that kind of relationship. I love you, sis. So just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Nicole. I'm a Philadelphia native. 48 years old, and let me see. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that you wanted my input on this subject, because I need some help. We need to talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
But it's a topic that's needed. That my friends and I talk about it at work. It's hard to navigate now, and the pandemic just made it even harder. So I thank God for being here. I thank God for this topic and everybody that is going to bless and meeting the new people. Jackie, Melvin, Liz,
all right, hi, Nicole.
And seeing you again. I'm so proud of you guys. This is just seeing your dream and you're working towards it, and it comes to fruition is beautiful. So another wonderful podcast, one of many.
Yes. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate you.
All
right. So last but certainly not least, here is another brother from another mother. I'm gonna bring on Bow-Legged Lou.
All right. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Well, I'll be doggone.
My connection with this brother goes back to when we met in high school, 13, 14 years old. And some of what you see or will hear and see tonight is something that I have seen from day one. He is, again, as our culture will define, another brother from another mother. He will tell you a little bit about himself, but his heart is true.
Yes.
He's passionate about his friends, his loved ones.
Loyal.
What else can I say? I love you, Lou. Thank you for showing up.
Oh, wait. You
wait a minute.
The most important part.
How could I forget? Because if I didn't say it, he will say it.
I'm sure he would.
He will say.
He takes credit for us.
Right. He will take credit that me and Val are sitting here, because if it wasn't for a function he was involved in, and again, he will speak on it more in depthly, we would not be here today. He will say he was the driving force to me meeting this woman and marrying her.
Absolutely.
All right.
So Bow-Legged Lou, tell us a little something about yourself.
So, first of all, I'm proud to be here. Of course, I'm here because of you, the both of you, but especially more for Valerie, not for Frank. And And I'm in a group called Full Force, which we've been together since we've been producing and performing since 1984, actually. And me and my brothers, we write and produce for people like, Lisa and Code Jam. I Wonder If I Take You Home. UTFO, Roxanne. Tell Pepsi's Riley, Thanks for My Child, which I wrote. But even though I wrote it, it still says written by Full Force. James Brown's last 2 top 10 records in his career, Static and I'm Real, was written and produced by Full Force. Then the Backstreet Boys, we started doing a lot of white people, and that made more money. So we did the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, Selena, may she rest in peace, Patti LaBelle. I mean, the list goes on and on. You could just Google us and you'll see Full Force. And then as actors, me and my beloved brothers, Paul Anthony and B Fine, we appeared in the classic movie now. March 9th, we celebrated 32 years of House Party and House Party 2. But House Party 1 was the big one for us. And as a classic featuring my brothers and me and my brothers, we were the bullies chasing after Kid and Play. Martin Lawrence was in it. Tisha Campbell, AJ Johnson, John Witherspoon, may he rest in peace. George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic, Robin Harris, may he rest in peace. And the movie's a classic now. And we played the 3 bullies. I had the memorable line where I said, "I'm gonna kick your freaking," and you know the rest. But I was the high-pitched voice. I smell. I won't say what I said in the movie, but those of you that know it, it's the classic. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm a proud primary caregiver of my beloved 85-year-old mother. Yeah, she's been there for us, and now we're there for her. And my father's up in heaven. He's the one that taught us how to sing. Me and my brothers how to sing. So I'm just happy to be here with you guys, man. And Frank and Valerie, they met at this club called Broadway International, which was a club that me and my brothers performed at. Full Force, actually. We performed at before we were known, before we were successful. And both of them was like, well, actually, both of them they both met first at a strip club, right? Because both of them used to be strippers. Both of them were strippers, right? And they wanted to bring their pole to Broadway International, to the club. I'm joking about the strippers, but they met at a club, and I gotta give it to both of them. I'm so proud of them because they are still together. They're true testament, man, of love. When you have a marriage, and we're all not perfect, we all have our ups and downs, but I give it to both of them. I always tell Frank, I says, Frank, man, y'all should write a book, and maybe you should call it The Survivors, because you guys are survivors, and I'm proud of both y'all, and I love the both of you guys. And I knew Frank's beloved mother up in heaven. And I always remember Miss Chase. I remember Miss Chase as of today. Very stern, no nonsense woman. She could bowl her behind off. When I went to Frank's house in Brooklyn, I saw all those million of bowling trophies. It was hers. And then I saw smaller trophies, which was Frank's. But I was like, man, Mrs. Chase was dope. And I gotta say, I didn't know until he introduced himself. I want to say what's up to my boy Melvin McLean.
Yeah, what's up?
I haven't seen you since Jesus walked. Now, correct me. Was your nick? I think Frank used to call you Sly. No,
that's his older brother.
That's your older brother. Yeah. But I remember you guys like it was yesterday because we used to hang out as well with Frank, and Frank loved you guys. I still love you guys too. Yeah. So yeah, I know. That's your older brother. Cool. Tell your brother I said what's up.
All right, Lou.
Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you so much, and thank you for that performance at Broadway International, because it changed our lives. We met there that night. Y'all were performing, and our lives have never been the same, right, baby? So
I think that same night y'all had your own performance, right?
No, a week later.
A week? Oh, damn! A week later. Wow. Okay. A week later.
Yeah.
Wasn't no pandemic to worry about.
Oh, man.
So listen, guys. Any of you can answer this question. I want to ask: is dating something that you engaged in regularly prior to the pandemic? Is it something you did a lot prior to the pandemic? And if not, what was it like? What was your dating history like prior to the pandemic Any one of you can ask. If somebody don't say something, I'm gonna call on somebody. Like,
well, go ahead, Jackie.
I'll start. I had sort of like a roller coaster dating cycle based on my workload. So if I had a heavy, like a heavy job that required me to be in overtime, then, my dating scene would be kind of low. But when I finally was able to settle down, I had a very positive dating lifestyle. One of my favorite memories of a really great date was when I met, at that time, we first met, on a bus. And he saw me coming back from working out. So he kind of saw me already being an active person. And instead of just asking me out and giving me some typical red roses and going to dinner, he took me rock climbing. Oh, not rock climbing. Yeah, rock, like the rock climbers, indoor rock climbing.
Yeah,
and that for me was so amazing because I felt like he saw me. He figured me out to try to see what was going on, and he was very encouraging when I was afraid to climb certain areas. So that was a really good experience. And I think, dating is good when that person can sort of figure you out and not just try to, oh, well, all the ladies are the same. We're gonna give her red roses, take her to McDonald's or take her wherever, and then we're gonna have a good old time in the night. So that was a really good experience. Yeah.
That's good. I like that. Rock climbing. That's interesting. You put some thought into that.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share what your dating was like prior to the pandemic?
Well, I will.
Go ahead.
Well, like you said, I was dating on the job. I had a friend on the job right before the pandemic. We were having fun. We were all over the place, traveling all over, and we got closer to one another. And due to the pandemic, being hospital workers, it kind of put everyone at bay because nurses had certain jobs, you had a certain job, and you were dealing right in the action, in the mix. So you had to be very cautious on who you dealt with and who you touched and who you came in contact with. So it was very hard once it struck. But what it did was, though, it made you appreciate the friendships that you do have, because people were dying left and right. We lost a lot of good people, and it makes you wonder, like, yo, why was I kept here? What was the purpose of me being here? So it makes you look at yourself differently in the mirror, carry yourself differently, and act accordingly to how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's good. That's very interesting. I like that. Nick or Bow-Legged Lou, either one of you want to chime in on that particular question?
Well, I wasn't dating much. I had just started dating again because I ended a relationship in 2014, and I wanted to take time to get to know me. I wanted to know, what did I do wrong in the relationship? So it took 5 years, and I'm trying to get into it, and things had changed. I had been married 16 years. So things had changed. I mean, it was online dating. I'm like, I don't want to do that, meet somebody at church. Everybody's married at church, and only single people at church are the adult children of the married people. So it was hard for me to navigate the new way of dating, and I really didn't like it. So I'm a hands-on person. Get to know you as a friend first, and then it develops into something. That wasn't happening because the places that I was going, people were already taken. So it was really slow before the pandemic.
It was slow. Wow. Okay. And Bow-Legged Lou, my sister Jackie said her fondest memory of you is when you all sang at me and Frank's wedding. And she was there with her stink face on because she was mad that I was getting married to Frank. She wasn't happy at all. She was not happy at all. So
I think my mother made y'all wedding cake, right?
She did. Yep. Wow. Sure, she certainly did. She made our wedding cake. So I want to ask, when you guys are dating, do you have a specific objective in mind when you date? For instance, are you dating to look for a spouse? Are you looking for a companionship? Are you looking for just platonic friendship? Or are you looking for sexual fulfillment? Because some people do that.
But wait a minute. What about, can I answer the first question that everybody else answered?
Go ahead.
Like, what was my dating scenario before the pandemic? Well, listen, for my age, I'm like, man, I can't believe the age that I'm at. I don't feel my age of only being 42 years old. And I'm like, And I'm like, I still feel youthful. And before the pandemic, like I used to be married. I was married for 20 years, straight out of high school. Me and my high school sweetheart at the time, and we got married. And her name is Sherry, and we was married for 20 years. Got two beautiful children. But after 20 years, we got a divorce, but it was an amicable divorce, And I feel because we got married so young, it was crazy. So after that, when I became single, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? And from then to like maybe before the pandemic, my dating life was really active. And then I had a girlfriend for 6 years, but then after that, I would date various women. I wouldn't be having sex with everybody in the world. You know what I mean? But a few here and there, but I was having fun. One thing about me, being a bachelor and everything like that, I treat women with respect. I put everything on the table. I let them know the deal. I don't want to lead anybody on or nothing like that. I don't believe in playing like that. And but it was fun. I want to see. There's this off-Broadway show that y'all got to see. It's called Stomp. I've seen that play 224 times with 224 different people. It's crazy, and I just like having fun. But I gotta say, before the pandemic, I was sort of in a serious relationship. I'm not even gonna mention her name just in case she's watching, but I was seeing this young lady and only her for about a good 2 months. And then one time she said to me, "When are you gonna claim me?" And I knew things was kind of cool because that was the first time I ever took out the same female for 3 straight days, which was a Valentine's Day weekend. This was before the pandemic. This was literally the year the pandemic happened. And we just had a blast and a ball. But then when the pandemic happened, and then when I became primary caregiver to my mom, things kind of slowed that down. I mean, we still see each other, we still date, but it's not like it used to be because it was more continuous. Since the pandemic happened, I go out every now and then, but I'm mostly, my date is primarily my mom, taking care of my mom. But there'll be times when my daughter comes over and stay with my mom or my cousin, and I can go out and, have a good time because I love having fun. I love taking ladies out to Broadway shows. If y'all haven't seen the Tina Turner play, you got to see it. Or the Michael Jackson play on Broadway is fantastic. And because I majored in theater, so I loved it. And I love whining and dining females. And I always say, you never know. My daughter used to say, "Dad, you got to settle down," And I said, yeah, I know. Well, when that happens, when God makes that happen, it'll just happen. Yeah. So I'll call you later, Nicole. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Oh my goodness. So I'm sorry for jumping in early, Lou, not coming back to you, but I do want to ask, what's your objective when you're dating? Are you looking for a spouse? Are you looking just to have a good time? Are you looking for a sex partner? Are you looking for someone just to go to events and out on dates with? What exactly is it that you're looking for when you are dating someone? And any one of you can answer that question.
I think I'm looking for honest companionship. I mean, I get sick of going out with my girlfriends. I need a man's perspective. I do miss that. So sometimes I'm out with my girlfriend, I'm like, well, we had some testosterone here, things would be a little bit different. So I do miss that. And I found in previous relationships, we were friends first, and then it developed into something. That's what I know. So that's what I'm looking for, just an authentic guy that's going to be honest, and that likes to have fun. I like to go out and do things. I don't want to Netflix and chill. I don't. I like going out. I love to eat. I'm a foodie. I need to lose some weight. I'm a foodie. I like good food, a good time, socializing with other people. That's what I'm looking for. And if it develops into something, great. If not, but I do like to travel, so I need a man with a passport. Got to have your passport because I like to travel. So.
Okay. Anyone else want to answer that question?
Well, I would like to answer that question too.
Yeah, go
ahead. Like Lou said, I was married before, and for 12 years, it was pretty good marriage. It didn't last, but when you're coming back from a marriage, and like Nicole said, when you break up in a relationship, you look at yourself and you try to find out, what did I do wrong? But majority of the time, it's not you, it's the other person. You know, when you look really close into it, once it's over, it's over. But what I look for in a relationship is the friendship first. Loyalty is mostly. I don't want to be with a woman that's lying and cheating and doing extra when it's unnecessary. You treat each other with respect, and see what people fail to realize, that you want that person there that can wash your back when you can't wash your back. See, you know what I'm saying? These are difficult times when you might be upright today and down tomorrow. You want somebody in your corner that's loyal, treat them with respect, and really love you for you as a friend first and then a lover.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
I agree with Melvin. The times that I have dated, it's always been, with a serious objective. It's not to have my body out there for anybody to just be taken the way they feel like to, please them, and then I'll go to the next man. So I really like the concept of, developing a really good friendship, getting to know each other, not putting any ultimatums on people and saying, well, you got to do this by X time and you have to do that by X amount of time. Let it be organic and, let God lead the way most of the time, because sometimes you could put a timeline on something and that could turn the person off, because they may have had that plan, but they may need time, or they're putting something together or something, and then you just spoil it by trying to beat the gun. So I think it's important that while you do have standards and requirements, but that, pressuring somebody into like straight up into, such a serious situation, and you don't even know them, you're not friends yet. How could that be?
Yeah. That's a really, really good point, Jackie, because sometimes I think, and I think it comes a lot from a woman's perspective, where we want to put a timetable on a relationship, where I want to be, if we're dating and seeing each other, I want to be engaged by this date and married by that date. Then, as opposed to, as you put it, allowing it to happen organically and to really develop that relationship. That's a great point.
I like it to happen organically, though, because no, seriously, because I think if you put a time thing on it, sometimes that could put pressure on the other, the other person. I'm thinking I like things to happen for real, because my thing is that when I go out, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to make this. She's got to be my woman. Damn it. It's been a while. I need her as my woman. No, you go, like, we have a song by Full Force. You can look it on YouTube. It's called Friends Before Lovers. So it's always like, first you become like sister and brother. Then there's the attraction. Then there's the lover. And then you become lovers. So friends before lovers. I feel it's important to be friends first, and then let's see what happens. And you just never know. So, and I love having fun, and I'm a funny person, so my humor, gets me over a lot. Also, I mean, listen, I'm not a bad-looking guy at all, but I know everybody loves to laugh and have fun, and I just treat women like queens. You know what I mean? Not like any side piece or anything like that. No, with respect. And I have a pretty good reputation for that. You know what I mean? So I go to have fun, and if something happens organically, like it almost happened a few years ago, but before the pandemic with this young lady, then it just happens, and then it'll be real. I think it's more realer that way. Yeah.
But you know the crazy part about that is, you can meet someone, you can go out on 3 or 4 dates, and you get closer to each other. You learn to feel what each other like and what they don't like, and then it happens. Then emotionally, you get involved before you even touch each other. You're emotionally involved because you know what your goal is. Your goal is to make it happen.
Right.
But what happens when you make it happen and it's not really there? You know what I mean? The drive was there in the beginning. Everything was right there in the beginning. Now, like, we're not little kids anymore. Now, when we was younger, it was about the chase. It was all about the chase. How many notches on the belt? Because that's the way we were programmed. We thought that's what it was before you actually get to know people, and then as you go through life, learning from mistakes and hurting and getting hurt, that you learn that that's not how it goes. That life is really different than that. But when do you really know? I was married for 12 years and didn't even know my wife.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? When do you really know? You sleeping with this person for 12 years and you wake up one morning and you find out that you're not happy. This is not the one. And the harder you fight to stay together, it pushes you further and further apart. What do?
You come see somebody like me.
Well,
Okay.
when I hear that, Melvin, what comes to my mind is lack of communication was happening that whole time. Not being honest to yourself. So now you're faking the funk just to stay together, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And now you say you wake up one day, what do? At that point, you either have that serious conversation. What are we going to do moving forward? This is what's not been happening. You know, most people staying in and work it out, whether you're in a marriage or committed relationship, or even if you're dating one person, that conversation has to happen. Because if you turn around and say, wow, I didn't spend all this time, I don't really know you, you don't really know me, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
At this point in our life, you got to be upfront and honest about it. Like Lucian says, he puts everything up front. So if you find out it's not working, you got to say something. Why stay in it?
Yeah.
Why? Especially when you're single. To continue to do something that's going to hurt yourself or hurt that other individual.
Yeah.
You got to talk about it.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And since I am a relationship counselor, I am a strong advocate for couples to get counseling, especially those who are contemplating marriage, to get counseling before marriage. And I was speaking to a sister yesterday evening that one of my professors, he even advocates pre-engagement counseling, because sometimes you may not even get engaged if you have that counseling and kind of unpack and unwrap some of those issues. You may say, wow, maybe I don't want to get married to this person after all, or continue this relationship and get engaged further down the line. Maybe not right now, but let's work on some stuff first. So our guest had a couple of questions. Angel was asking, how much time do you need before it gets serious or have an exclusive relationship?
But see, that's what I mean. How do you know? The feelings are there.
Yeah.
The emotions are there. You're going through everything, but is that the right one?
Right.
I have a thought on that. I think that, you know, depending on where you live, if there's a lot of people, some people are always thinking, okay, I have this person in front of me, but what if I turn the corner? They might be a better person. Instead of really focusing on developing the person that's in front of you. Because as the person that's in front of you, you're always thinking about the next best thing. But the next best thing is right in front of you. It may not be in that other person. So you may give up a really good relationship because you are just focusing on the fear of missing out. So sometimes you could be in a relationship for a year or two with someone and it's not going anywhere because you're not really invested. You're not focusing on yourself. You're focusing on, shoot, I may meet somebody else who might be better. I'm still not feeling it. But have you really taken the time to have a conversation with this person? Do you want to build with this person? Have you established like common goals? You have your personal goals. Is this person supporting your goals? Like, you know, how does this person make you feel? Like, do you miss them when they're not around? So for me, that's what I look for. And if this man is serious, he's going to show me. I'm very, you know, like I'm very sensitive in the sense of like, I could feel his energy and I could feel if he wants me, he's going to touch me. He's going to call me. He's going to, you know, see me and then try to figure me out, learn along the way, and then make those efforts. And that's going to let me know, oh no, he's something. He's good material. And that's going to make me open up myself. Baby, what do you want? You know, how can I help you? How can I make you happy? How can I make your toes curl or whatever it is? You know? Whatever it is. But that feedback, that going back and forth of seeing each other, I think is very important. And that's for me, that's how I know. And it could be 3 months or it could be, you know, it could be a whole year before that happens. It all depends on the investment that we make
Mhm.
Or it could be 1 week, like what happened with Frank and Valerie when they met at Broadway International.
Well, that 1 week, that 1 week, of course, in our 20s, that 1 week satisfied the lustful
part of it.
urges
Yes.
that all 20 years old go through. But the journey since then has been eye-opening.
Yes, it has.
Oh, so again, that's another story. But again, you have to put that time in. You have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Do you want to do it? Do you want to do the work? And, speaking personally, sometimes those are hard questions to put to yourself and answer.
Frank is absolutely right. And, we sit here now because we did ask ourselves those hard questions and we did have those hard conversations, because there were times I looked at him and I'm sure he looked at me and said, this ain't it. Yeah. There were those times when we really didn't want to be married, but we had to have the conversation.
Sure, there was a time where I said, listen, I don't want to be married anymore.
He sure did.
That's, again, my mind telling me that stuff. Until I found myself in that space where I could ask some serious questions and come up with some real answers.
Yeah.
And obviously, I got the right answer.
That's because he got the right woman. So, Jackie was asking for the fellas, would you date a woman who is not interested in getting married again?
Yes.
Or are either of you interested in getting married again? That's another question.
Well, no one wants to be alone, but marriage is a big step. That's a union that's supposed to be a lifetime union.
Yes.
So you can date, and like I said, I hear people say, "Yeah, my wifey." They claim that, but they don't act. They don't act through the motions. Marriage is a book of reading and understanding. You know what I mean? Marriage. When I got married, I thought it was just all about I claimed her, she claimed me, and that was it. Yeah. And one day I had some guests over, and my wife came home and was like, "What are these people doing in the house?" And I was like, "These are my friends." I didn't look at the part that this is our house.
Right.
This is not just my house. And you have to respect boundaries when it comes to your wife. And she respects your boundary as a husband. See, and I had to learn all of that.
Yeah.
Hey, something, so funny. When I was married, and like I said, I was married for 20 years, and me and my ex-wife are still great friends to this day. I celebrate her all the time. And the thing about it is, I will never forget, like you're saying about boundaries and you got to respect your house. I remember when we divorced, when I really knew that I didn't really have a wife anymore, not when she physically left, but when I was in the bathroom doing number 2, and then I'm doing number 2 all happy. And then I went over to grab the toilet paper and there's no toilet paper there. Why? Because she always went shopping with the toilet paper towels. I'm like, oh wow, there's no damn toilet paper here. I gotta start paying attention now to what's in the house. It's crazy. But that's when you kind of know. And to touch back on what we talked about before, sometimes you just don't know who's the one. Sometimes it's right under your nose and you just never know it. And like the young lady said before, sometimes it takes 3 months to get to know somebody, a few weeks. You'll know when it happens. I feel if you try to plan for something and try to force it and try to put a time limit on it, then it might not happen. It might not happen real and organically. You know what I mean? So, that's just my opinion, because everything is individualized. Everybody's not the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. Angel also was asking this. She said sometimes people want to know up front what the agenda is, or they feel that they are wasting their time. For instance, if there's a woman who she absolutely wants to get married, but that marriage is off the table for you. So at what point do you think you would have that conversation?
Well, I think if you're together and it's getting you can't go out for a week and then all of a sudden I want to get married. No, that's not the deal. Well, not for me anyway. Like, I want to get married. Claim me now. No, my thing is that like, I never say never. I remember after I divorced my wife, I said, I'm going to always be single. And then I met a young lady And then we had a relationship for like 6-7 years. So you never say never, you know, so it's never off the table for me. You know what I mean? It's never off the table for me. So it's like you go with the flow. Like I said, I don't play games, and, you know, I keep things on the table. And if that stuff started getting closer, you just never know in life. Then you become, you know, you're like, wow, I think I'm going to be in a committed relationship here, you know? I just think you don't play with anybody's feelings, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I would agree. It goes back to simple fact-finding questions when you're dating. You go out a couple of times. Hey, what do you think about marriage? It's not that you're asking her to marry you, or he's asking, or she's asking you to marry him. It's fact-finding question. Do you like children? Because you might be dating her and you got 3 little kids at home. She don't want to be around kids. These things you need to find out. Your relationship continues to develop, because after week 3 you find out she don't want to be around kids. You got kids. Your kids are number one. So then you say, listen, Michelle, whatever the name is, this is what I understand you feel about certain things. Maybe we can go out as friends, but anything beyond that is not going to happen. This way no one gets hurt later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Honest communication. Just be honest about what you want. Don't play games. That's what I find a lot of people are doing. They're putting up these false what are these things called? Profiles and everything. Games, thinking that's what you want. No, just be honest. I feel there's a lid for every pot. And if you just be yourself, you're gonna find it for your pot. But if you playing games, you're not gonna find it.
Speaking of profile, that's that one right there.
Okay.
Speaking of profiles.
Yeah, if I may, excuse me. What was your use of dating apps pre-COVID, if you use them, and has that increased since the pandemic? Anybody?
I was on Match.com because it was free. I have a problem with paying for a date.
Hilarious.
Anyway, I found Match.com. I prefer black men. I found Match.com didn't have a lot of black men on it. And then I would ask my friends, and I liked Zeus because I think they, you know, you couldn't put fake pictures up. You had whatever pictures you put up, they made you do like a FaceTime with them so you knew it was you. So I kind of like that. Facebook dating is kind of weird. My problem is people don't read the profile. I'm getting a lot of young people interested, and I'm not interested in young people. You can't read my daughter's age. We have nothing to talk about. I don't like your music. So, yeah, I would say I did start with the popular ones that you see on TV pre-pandemic. Now mainly Facebook dating and Zeus.
Okay. Yeah. That's a new one. I haven't heard of Zeus. Is that kind of new? I've never heard of that one before.
No, I was on that one pre-pandemic too. So I met a couple people. My problem is they want your number right away. It's like, hey, you have your number. Okay, did you read my profile? What do we have in common? Like, okay, you think I'm cute. That's nice, but do you like to travel? And then I get another agnostic and Muslim too, and I'm like, I'm Christian. What do we have in common?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So religion matters to you for a relationship, like you said, for Muslim. If you don't want that because you're Christian, or religion has to play a part.
It is important to me. It is. I have I'm going into looking to have a good time. My friend pool has different kinds of people in it. I work with the Muslim people. I work with agnostics. I have no problem with that. Before, my preference, if it's going to be long term, would be somebody that shares my Christian values. Someone that's going to go to church with me.
Because Nicole, I see in the background a bean pie. So I don't know.
And I have Muslim people in my family. I just find that those are the men that are responding to me. A lot of Muslims, a lot of agnostics. Like, what are they missing in my profile? It's like I'm attracted to the same types of people. So it's weird. I don't know why that happens. But
yeah.
Now it's funny Nicole should say that, because that's my problem. I keep running to the same type of women.
What's that?
No, I have that same problem, Nicole. For some reason, I'm attracted to those women that are no good for me.
Wow.
Are you attracted to them, or they are attracted and seeking you out?
No, I think it's me. I think it's me. First of all, I love a challenge. I love a challenge. I love a challenge when the person say no, I'm saying yes. You know what I mean? So that's a challenge right there. But I have made a lot of, you know what? I have made a lot of mistakes in my life. And you have to be honest, like Lou said, you got to be honest and keep it forward. See, and when you start lying, you got to compound on that lie, on that lie, on that lie. You know what I'm saying? So why not tell the truth? Like Nicole said, let her make the judgment call whether she want to be bothered with you or not.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I always think back to the story of the rapper that was on the bench. He was homeless on the bench. K was my man from the Bronx, KRS-One.
Yeah.
Right. He was homeless in the beginning. And this young lady used to speak to him every day, sit on the bench and talk to him. He wanted to marry her. And I think they still together. So I'm just saying, you never know, but what is your expectations? Sometimes people shoot too high.
Yeah.
Sometimes they shoot too high and they miss, like the young lady said, they miss the mark. The person could be right there in front of you. So you're right. You have to be truthful and forthright with your questions and answers.
Yes. And my nephew Rock, thanks for watching, Rock. My daughter Sidel's watching. Lisa, Liz, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys being here. I did say Sidel. I don't want to forget Sidel.
Make sure.
I have forgotten to shout her out before, and she was going to disown me as her mom. So my daughter, my firstborn, my only daughter, Sidel Renee Rosario Chase.
Say hello. Hi, Sidel, if you're watching. This is Uncle Lou.
Yeah, she watches.
Now, Sidel has like 10 children now.
Oh,
no, not yet. The boys are the ones that got all the babies.
I remember the boys.
The boys got all the babies. So Rock was saying that you have to pay attention to character and the red flags.
That's
and
right.
Anthony was asking, so what are some of the red flags that you look for?
Me personally, I would say the values. There's a difference between like programs and values, because we were raised in even though we may all be Black or all come from a certain culture. When you're in your home, there's certain things that are exclusive to your home upbringing. So I can't expect that the person that I'm dating or I'm trying to be with, that he's going to know everything that I value in the way that I was growing up or the things that are important to me. So, I always look for somebody who's going to be a gentleman, someone who's going to, if I have, he has my number, but I can't have his number. What kind of foolishness is that? Or he has my address, but I don't have his address. Or, I'm eager for him to meet my family, but then I've never met his family. I don't know where he lives and things like that. So they're very simple things that sometimes we just, kick to the curb because we want to continue pursuing this person and maybe want to change the situation, or we want to, keep digging and maybe force the person to see things our way. So if this person is not forthcoming with a lot of the same equal things, for me, it's not a 50-50 thing, but then there's certain levels of respect that we have to have, right?
Yeah.
You have some level of openness. I don't need your bank account, but at the same time, we have to have some level of openness, especially during the beginning. Then that, for me, is going to begin to develop that trust in you.
Yes. That's good, Jackie. And I want to piggyback on that. When you said you don't need access to the bank account or whatever, but I'm wondering if it's someone with whom you're going to have a long-term relationship and you're either going to get married or move in together, are you checking credit scores?
Well, it hasn't got that far lately.
If I may, guys, what came to my mind about that, and again, when me and Val had a conversation, I forget what the question is, but this kind of plays into it. Our culture, we meet people, we're not thinking about checking credit scores and stuff like that.
Yeah, but should we? That's the question. Should we?
Yeah, but you take the chance of offending someone. Again, that is something that comes
That's
later down the pipe.
That's what I mean.
You start talking about finances. Yeah, okay, at that point, that's not a question you ask the first month in.
No, that's not what I said. I said if it's a long-term relationship and you and the person are either going to cohabitate or you are about to become engaged and get married, is that something that is a concern of yours? And do you investigate? Do you want to know what's their credit score? What's their history with paying bills? Do they have a lot of bankruptcies in their history? A lot of car repossessions and all that sort of thing? What, does it matter? That's what I'm just wondering.
I think so. If it's going to get serious, definitely.
Anybody else? What do you say?
Now it's funny that you say that, because when I got married, I was 20 years old, and the next day, I'm telling you, the very next day, my new husband told me, "I'm not paying your credit cards." Because I was irresponsible. I had ran up. You know how when you go to college, you get credit cards thrown at you. That wallet was full of cards. And he told me the next day when we opened up that joint bank account, he said, "I'm not paying all your credit card. All that stuff you got in Brown, you paying for." And he did not.
How much I owe you,
and he owed the IRS, and I said the same thing. I'm not paying yours either.
Okay.
After March 24th, our wedding date, that's when our stuff came together. That stuff that we did before then, we didn't do, which was a good thing because it made me be responsible.
Yeah.
It made me, during the marriage, it made me not run up bills. I'm like, this man ain't here for my foolishness.
Yeah,
So,
if I can.
I had to learn it the hard way at 20, and now, I think I would want to know. That's a conversation we definitely would have to have. Okay, we need to discuss this because this is a big issue. And then I'll use that story that, my ex-husband said he wasn't paying for all my foolishness and my recklessness before we got married.
Yeah,
and he had it right because I was reckless.
But isn't that a level of privacy that you won't cross that line until you feel that the relationship is going somewhere?
Yes. When it gets to that point, gets to the point of we are contemplating marriage or we're contemplating moving in together, I'm talking about when you reach there. And my daughter-in-law Liz made a great point. She says pay attention to habits, including financial habits, because credit scores change. And I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my ex-husband did pay attention. He told me the next day.
Yeah.
He let me know the next day.
Yeah.
But
you got to make sure that a person like really gets into you for you. So sometimes, regardless of the credit score, I understand the finance scenario because you want to know if things are getting closer, like, can this person hold me down? And not just the man, but the woman too, damn it.
Right.
So the thing, so the thing about it is, it's good to check for that. But sometimes if you meet somebody and like in my business, I like, okay, is she checking me because I'm bow-legged Lou, or is she checking me for me, myself, and I can definitely know those people that are me, myself, and I can know those people who's bow-legged Lou, like, hey, let's go to this restaurant, like, it's $1,000 restaurant or whatever, or people, or some females I know will check, they got this thing called celebrity net worth, so they'll check that, and I'm telling you now, what it says there is no way like what I have, which is so crazy. I'm like, how did they get this? But people look at that and they go, oh yeah, we hit the jackpot. And it's not all about that. You know what I mean? You want that person to really like you for yourself initially.
Right. Yeah.
If I could, I think there's two different ways to look at it. For all of us where we are mature-wise, our age now, that question, those things might come up a lot sooner. You want to find out if you're getting involved with someone, if they got a bunch of bad credit scores or a house in foreclosure. You want to find that out probably sooner than later. When you're younger, you got time to kind of mingle and figure that stuff out. My nephew Rock says, Lord have mercy, nephew. He still calls me Frankie. I keep trying to tell people it's Uncle Frank, but that's all right. Uncle Frankie. I'm not thinking about offending anybody. Asking about their credit. My last relationship was for 5 years. It was a bill.
Yeah, that's something you need to know.
But Rock had asked a question earlier before that question about dating the same type of women.
Yep, he had said if you are consistently meeting women who are not good for you, there is something inside your spirit that's attracting those type of women.
I agree with that.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was actually having a conversation last night because yesterday I was on another friend's YouTube broadcast. We were talking about love and relationships, and very often, and that's why again I am a strong proponent for counseling, because sometimes we date what my mother used to call the same man in a different pair of pants.
Oh,
And
yes.
if you find that you are
Where'd you put it?
the same type of individual who also happens to not be the right type of person for you, that's when it's time to look inside of yourself and ask, why am I attracted? What is it about me? What do I need to look for and address within myself that I keep attracting someone who's not the right person for me, whatever that looks like in your particular case. So yeah, I think that's
Ms. Valerie, I had an experience where I kept attracting a lot of artists who were like very super laid back, no aspirations, very lazy, and very needy.
Damn.
And that was because the nurse in me was kicking in.
Yes.
I gotta take care of him. I gotta feed him. I gotta clothe him. I gotta do everything for him. And I think that I started to learn with a friend who was like, you have like a healing syndrome, that this is a problem for you because you can't be constantly in a relationship. It's you keep attracting these men who see the nurturing side of you, and they're not taking advantage of it, because the thing is that I'm accepting this relationship and it makes me feel good. I'm taking care of somebody. But there's a difference between me being a nurse and getting paid for it, and then me being in a relationship where I'm being a nurse to this person and there's nothing coming back. I mean, he's not.
Oh, and so you're in a relationship and you want to get paid for that also?
No. But meaning like, I want to get paid in the sense of getting paid like he's a provider. He's loving, he's caring, he's putting effort. He has aspirations. He wants to build something together, and even if it's like, let's say I may make more money than him, but his goals are on point. He wants to go somewhere. He wants to, he wants to hold my hand and we're going to walk together. It's not like he's just laying on a couch and he's waiting, with his two hands open, whether it be in everything, it's sexual, food, everything. It's like, I'm just 1 point short of just bathing him too. I might as well just bathe him, right?
I'm down for that. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
I might as well just take him to the shower and bathe him up too.
Yes.
So
Yes, we
there's
can deal with
nothing
that.
wrong with that. But you know what? I understand where you're coming from. So in other words, you want it to be a two-way street, and I agree, with that wholeheartedly. It can't be a one-way situation. It must be a two-way street in any and everything. I got you with that.
Yeah, reciprocity in a relationship is extremely important, because if not, it's exhausting, and then you become resentful. And that's where all the bitterness will come in, and the vitriol, and then the snide remarks, and then that's going to lead to arguments. Whereas that can be avoided if you express your need to the individual and give them an opportunity to meet those needs. And if they just tell you, give you their behind to kiss, then now you got to step. That's not the right one for you.
Listen, I'm not leaving. I got to get my charger. I'm not leaving.
All right.
I got to get my charger.
So I want to ask this question. Let's say you're meeting someone. You made someone on the dating app, and you're going to have an in-person date for the first time right now during this pandemic. Do you inquire about their vaccination status, and do you insist on wearing masks when you meet them for the very first time? Anyone can answer that.
I would ask them more about the mental health part. Would be more important to me, because I'm vaccinated already. Not much that they can give me, except for like a variant that's not been killing a lot of people. But I want to know more about their mental health and their vaccination status.
Yeah. And how do you inquire about that, or what method do you use to get a gauge on, a handle on what their mental health status might be?
Probably getting into the question of like, what were you before COVID? You know, what has been your COVID experience? You know, share a story about your COVID experience, and then leave it open-ended so that they'll be able to share.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point, because you want to know if they would just shut up in the house every day eating popcorn and watching Netflix and not having any connection with other people. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Anybody else concerned if you're meeting someone for the first time, what their vaccination status or mental health status might be, since we have been in this pandemic?
I don't think I'm concerned, because I mean I deal with it every day, so it's always there for me, so it doesn't bother me. And then I find that the first opening questions when somebody likes my profile, somebody start talking. Sometimes you can tell the real reason why they're single, because they can't answer a basic question. I'm serious. I can ask a man what because they'll say example. They'll say something, you're very beautiful or something like that. And of course I say thank you, because the man didn't have to pay me a compliment. And then he doesn't say any. The next thing is, can I have your number? I don't like texting. Then I ask, what in my profile piqued your interest? What do we have in common?
Yeah.
I had one guy give me a thumbs down. I'm like, what does that have? That was weird. So I've been learning early on that if some of these people on the apps, and again, I think they're on the apps because they can't get dates any other way. I found out very early on that we can't even hold a conversation before before I give you my number, because I did have one guy we were talking, I gave him my number because I was sick of the texting too. Then he started calling me all crazy times during the workday. I'm like, 1:00 in the afternoon, dude, I'm a nurse. I told you I'm at work. And then sometimes I get in the car, he's calling and he's upset I'm not answering the phone. Okay, so I'm learning really early a lot. Just give it some time. Don't rush into it. I'm picking them off the list really early, because that's been some of my experiences. And then I'm looking back like, am I doing something wrong? I'm reading my program. What am I doing wrong? And then some have been very nice. I run into people that when they find out I have 5 kids, they want kids. I'm 48. I'm not having any more kids. I'm not. I'm telling you, Val, you guys, that has been a deal breaker a lot since 2019.
Wow.
I have the knack for finding men never married, no kids. Ex-husband never married, no kids. And then they want kids. I'm not having I have 5 and I have a grandchild. I'm not having kids.
Done.
No, that boat said you're in your 50s. Why do you want little kids running around?
Yeah. I find that kind of surprising that there are still nowadays men who are in their 40s and 50s who not just have never been married, but don't have any children.
I've met some responsible men.
That's very responsible.
What they tell me, I didn't want kids and I was responsible. I didn't leave birth control on her. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Because men usually, they like to get their thing wet. They ain't trying to go out.
They like to try to get their thing wet, Valerie.
Wow, it's wrong.
You know what I mean? A lot of they're not thinking about covering it up. So that's remarkable. I'm impressed. That there are actually that many men out there who take their birth control that seriously. That's good.
I've met quite a few, and that's attractive to me. Because I've had guys. I got 5 kids too. How many baby mamas you got? I don't have time for that kind of drama. No.
Especially if the children are young. If they're all grown out of the house, that might be a different story. Yeah, might be a different story.
It's crazy in these streets, Val. Be happy you married.
Yeah, I feel you, sis. I feel you.
Bug freight tighter. Ain't nothing out here.
You better hold on me tighter too, girl.
Two-way street.
Go ahead, Lou. What'd you say?
No, I said two-way street. You're right. And Nicole, you can't say ain't nothing out there. It's just that you haven't probably met that person yet, but keep hope alive. That's what I always say, because sometimes women will go, oh man, I don't love men. No, I don't like men anymore because they have some bad experiences.
Yeah.
But I always say keep hope alive because you just never know,
Yeah.
There's a lid, like I said, there's a lid for every pot. My lid is out there.
Yeah, somewhere. Now I have a question I want to ask. Nicole said early on that she prefers dating within her race. How do you guys feel about that? Are you interested in dating outside of your race at all?
I'm attracted to Asian men. I like that whole culture.
Okay.
And not so much a Caucasian person because there's something, and this is not me, this is like something ancestral inside of me. I feel like I'm going to break him.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not going to withstand us being in bed. There's something about the pale skin. Yeah, there's something about the pale skin that lets me think like he's just going to fall apart by the time, he and I are done rocking up the storm in the bed. And I don't mean to be like that. I don't find myself a racist person, but I do like that whole Asian thing because they're like warriors. They have swords, they're samurais, and I love
I'm
that.
Black Chinese. I'm Black Chinese.
I like that thing where a man is going to fight for you. He's going to protect you. And I think that's why I'm attracted to the Asian man. And I love I love our Black men. Our Black men, they walk down the street with this confidence. They got that look. They got the street, a guy who knows how to be a street guy. But then when he's at home, he knows how to be gentle with you, but he's still a man. Oh, my Lord.
You read my bio.
Listen, I see Rock got a hot question there.
Yeah.
So Rock said you're on the first date and the date's amazing. The conversation is stimulating. So you are sexually attracted. Is sex going down on the first date? That's my nephew's question.
Who are you asking?
Anybody, anyone who wants to answer that.
Well, the older I got, I learned to respect women is not as objects. So I can wait. I can wait to figure you out. Like I said, in my younger days, they were objects. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying our culture-wise, we went out every Friday night, we partied every Saturday, and we went home with somebody. It just was our culture.
Yeah.
You know about that, Lou.
Not only me, but Frank and Valerie also. they both listen. They both was objects, and then within a week they did their thing. But it ended up being they were both objects of their own desire. But you're right, Melvin. The bottom line is that I've had a lot of back in the day, because I'm cool now, but back in the day, of course, one night stands and the attraction, and then it goes down that very same night. Sometimes it's great, sometimes not great. It's like, hey, we're gonna see each other again, and sometimes it just happens. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. You know?
Yeah. So along those lines, if you are dating someone and you develop a relationship, what questions do you ask prior to sexual intimacy taking place in terms of their health status? Are you looking? Do you go and get tested together? Do you ask them to go and get tested? And
you must show your paperwork.
How do you handle that?
Yes.
You have to have documents.
Yes.
You have to have AIDS tests, your vaccination shots. Yes, these are unusual times where you have to protect yourself at all times.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't take anything for granted.
Nothing for granted.
Yeah.
I've exchanged documents, and if they don't want to get it done, well, sayonara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exchange documents.
Yes.
I hear you.
Now, as we get into the deeper conversation, your positions and your preference, what you like, just show me. Tell me what you want.
Listen,
I'm being honest. A lot of people don't talk. They don't talk. A person should be able to tell you what they like and what they don't like.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. That's good. That's really good. So we are already 11 minutes beyond our hour mark, but I listen, guys, I appreciate all of you guys so much, but I want to give Jackie an opportunity, because in addition to being a nurse, Jackie is also an artist, and I asked her if she could just show a piece or two of her artwork that she's done, and she's also a very avid dancer.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to see that.
So after this, I'm gonna have to show Melvin my move.
Yes, baby.
Here's an old picture. You know, when I was in high school and
Jackie,
college, that I used
Melvin.
to do. Yeah, I love to draw, and then I think that for now, you know, being in the home a lot is good to have, like, for myself, a way to, you know, have an outlet when I can't go out dancing a lot, because I'm also a caregiver. I like to have this art journal and just, you know, do a lot of different paintings and stuff like that. Yeah. Whatever comes to mind. I don't, you know, like, just whatever comes to mind. Is nothing special or nothing. And I just go in there and do something, which I think is good, you know, to get your
and what's your average portrait?
Stuff like that.
What cost? What's the price on your average portrait?
No, I've never sold a piece.
Oh.
Never sold a piece.
Well, we're gonna have to work on that.
I've given them away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where you live? You live in New York?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And Jackie's
Melvin, you better stop now. I'm hearing them questions.
Jackie's Instagram is up on the screen. So that's Jackie's Instagram.
Oh, okay.
If you want to contact Jackie and see some more of her artwork or whatever, that's her Instagram. It's at Ticker Nurse.
Oh, at Ticker Nurse. Oh, okay.
Nurse, yeah, and
Tickle Nurse. All right.
Hey man, I feel some vibes right here between Melvin and Jackie right here.
Hey, Lou, that's what I'm about to say. This is not a dating app, fellas. Okay?
I think it's too late.
I think so.
And plus Jackie says she doesn't sell her pieces. So hey, I don't know. She says she doesn't sell her piece, so you know. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Oh my! You guys have been so entertaining. It's been great. So you saw Jackie's Instagram. This is Nicole's Instagram. And so, Lou, what's next on the horizon for you and Full Force? What's going on?
Well, we're getting ready to do, which is kind of exciting. It's going to happen in Canada. Actually, we're getting ready to be part of the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which happens in August, but they're going to be doing a 9-part TV scenario about it. We're like in the beginning stages of now. We're going to be honored, but people like Dougie Fresh and Jay-Z is going to be honored. And it sounds exciting. We're going to do a performance on it because we also come from the beginning of hip hop. Yeah. When we produced UTFO's Roxanne and other hits, and also with Curtis Blow, we co-wrote before we became popular. Our name became popular. We co-wrote the song "Basketball" by Curtis Blow and played on it too.
Wow.
They're playing basketball. They're playing basketball. So we're going to be part of that as well. And I'm going to be in an independent film, so I could do something else except, you know, besides House Party, and it's called the Cafe, and that's going to be starting to film later this summer. So, and you know, we're doing shows here and there, Full Force. So you know, we're doing our thing.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And so, and Melvin is retired.
Yes, I'm retired now. I'm gonna do a lot of traveling.
So Melvin doesn't have an Instagram, but he is on Facebook. So Melvin McCain, he's on Facebook. So if you want to look up Melvin McCain, he's a handful. So make sure that he's a handful.
Look at Jackie getting excited when you said he's a handful.
and Lou, Black Chinese too.
So this has been absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate you guys, and I love each and every one of you so very much. I thank you for sharing your time, for being here, for sharing your story. for just contributing. It means a whole lot to me and the Cookie Man. We don't take your friendships for granted. We really do appreciate you being here. So I'll be seeing all of you guys real soon. And for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week, next Sunday at 7 p.m. And I think next week it's just me and the Cookie Man.
And listen, I want to say something about you and the Cookie Man.
Go ahead.
I love you both so much with my heart. I mean, Frank, we have a friendship that goes, since high school, man. And I just want to let you know how much I love you, you and Donovan. Me and my brother, Paul Anthony, and Frank, we have a mutual friend called Donovan, and we all went to high school together. And I'll never forget the great memories we had. But one of the craziest memory was the four of us became the yearbook thieves, where we actually stole yearbooks from the school and we were selling them to the students. And then one time, and this is how God don't like ugly. And then one time, and Donovan was the getaway car. We'd store the yearbooks in the getaway car. And then one time, people from the dean's office came into each of our classrooms and pulled us out. So me, Paul, Frank, and Donovan was in the dean's room, and we were going to get expelled. And then what happened is that we kept denying that we sold anything. And then the dean said, all right, did any one of you sell anything to any school employee? And we all said no. And then he said, oh, no? Let me see. So he got the school employee on the walkie-talkie. It was a security guard. And he asked the security guard, all right, listen, did anybody sell you a yearbook? Any students sell you a yearbook? The security guard said over the phone, yes, they did. And then Frank raises up his hand. He goes, I did that one. I'll never forget this. We looked at him like, damn, you stole something to a security guard? We almost got thrown out of school, but man, we were spared. Wow. I love you, Frank, with my heart. And I love you too, Valerie.
I know, baby.
And so good meeting everybody here.
Likewise.
My Instagram handle is the Bowlegged One on Instagram, the Bowlegged with the number 1, and Facebook is Lou George, and they'll say Bowlegged Lou on there as well. And you can Google me, you'll see.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Ladies, it was nice meeting you. I hope to see you again. Frank and Val, kisses and hugs.
Hold on, I'm trying to put Lou up there. I don't know. Did I get it right?
He said it.
Oh, I misspelled it. As B-O-W. I misspelled it. Hold on. I misspelled it.
And then the number 1 at the end. And that's Instagram.
Okay.
Instead of 1 spelled out, put the number 1.
The number 1. Okay.
And Melvin, don't forget. And Melvin, don't forget to say hi to Sly for me, okay?
I sure will, bro.
God bless all of you guys.
You too, Jackie. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
All right.
We finally got it. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right.
Stay blessed.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care.
That was fun.
When you kept saying Jackie, I thought it was your sister going to join with us.
Oh, you thought it was my sister, Jackie?
Yeah.
Babe, put this chair back for me, please. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
Jackie never texted me, so I guess it wasn't choppy.
Yeah, it must have been okay.
I'm glad I heard that because normally I leave my phone in the
I
room.
know, and I forgot to even tell you to bring it in too. Oh my goodness, I didn't end the broadcast.